What's up everyone, my name's Alpha and today we're back with another Pokemon Challenge video. Today we're on Pokemon Infinite Fusion and today's challenge we can beat Pokemon Infinite Fusion using only electric type Pokemon. So it's a whole monotype on Infinite Fusion using only electric type Pokemon. I mean, the whole idea of Infinite Fusion is me being able to fuse every single Pokemon for any combination I want. So we're gonna actually limit ourselves and use a monotype. We can combine any electric type Pokemon with any other Pokemon. They just have to have electric typing in their dual typing or single typing. Whatever it is, they have to be electric typing at the end of the day. You might think the whole point of Infinite Fusion is to expand your creativity, but I think this actually, I make the argument that this actually makes me more creative, because you might be stuck into a monotype, but you can start being more creative and picking through what are the best Pokemon in this monotype and what Pokemon do you really want to use. So it's actually pretty creative and you get some interesting fusion you might want to use in the future, and also, you know, it's fun for everyone. Anyway, that's basically the rule set. Also, we're gonna play on modern mode and the hardest difficulty on this game, which it's pretty difficult. The end boss is pretty high in levels, and as well just added some roles. You can use items inside a battle, you can use hell items, and you have to play on set mode just to make it even more difficult. And on top of that, each of my Pokemon will be nicknamed after you guys in the comments. So thanks so much for leaving a nickname in my previous challenge video. If you guys want to be nicknamed after a future Pokemon, just drop in the comments and hopefully I'll pick yours. And while you're down here, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to my channel. It means a lot to me. Let's get into the challenge video itself. So I got a lot of feedback on a few things. Number one, someone told me I was cheating because I glitched through the wall. Even if I use walk through walls, I'm not sure you can enable that in this fan game. What would be the purpose of using walk through walls when I'm showing everything I do in the game? So it didn't make any sense that someone said I was cheating by walking through the walls. But no, the game is kind of glitchy from time to time. It's obviously a fan game. You can't expect perfection, even though this game is pretty close. It's pretty fun. And as well, a lot of people say they like my layout, so I'm gonna keep my layout like this. Maybe I'll switch up the paws in the future, but also I'm gonna tone down my mic, as in I'm gonna move my mouth further back from my mic so I don't peak every time I talk. So that would be more useful to up the video quality. Besides that, we're gonna actually choose our starter Pokemon. We want a Squirtle. Now, thinking back to it, maybe I didn't want a Squirtle because you can actually find Pichus in the Verdant Forest. So we had to settle with another Pokemon. We settled with Joltik as our Pokemon. So we're gonna actually go out and we're not gonna even fuse the Squirtle and Joltik. We're gonna go out and get a Ralts and fuse that with a Joltik. So that is two big L's. I'm not gonna lie, this is a very ugly Pokemon and is very terrible. So maybe in the future it would have been better, but I didn't really stick with this for too long. We're also gonna go out and catch ourselves a Shinx, which, I mean, that's great. I mean, I do love Shinx. Most people really enjoy this Pokemon anyways. I'm actually gonna splice this with my Squirtle and make a very ugly contraption, and also not one that I was gonna use too often. That's why I didn't even put them on the screen. But anyways, from there we're gonna head into the first gym in the game, where we're gonna use our Roltic, which is gonna start the battle off against Brock's Shroomiard. I'm able to get a Thunder Wave off against him to get him paralyzed, and then, you know what, goes to the basic strategy of mud slapping until he's eventually gonna miss every single move. I just switch out into my Shinx. Well, I was getting leech seeded down, so I had to switch out and knock out the Shroomiard with my Shinx. From there he's gonna switch out into a Steve Jr., which is Steelix and Mime Jr. It looks interesting. Very interesting. Looks like a knockoff Diancie if you drew Diancie out of memory. But we're able to Mud Slap it down and eventually switch out into my Roltic, which is able to eventually knock him out with Mud Slap. Well, even though it's getting very close, I am able to confuse him with Confusion as well, and eventually he's gonna miss every single move. We get our first gym badge in the game, and we're gonna unfuse our Pokemon. So firstly, we're gonna catch a Fletchling and then fuse that with my Shinx. This combination is actually gonna stick to the end of the game, and it's actually one of my favorite combinations, even though it looks kind of funny. From there, we're also going to defuse our Roltic and infuse together our Wartortle and Joltik into a Wartic. From there, we're going to move out into Route 3 right outside of Mount Moon, catch yourselves an Allocate, which is going to be a great Pokemon. We're going to fuse that with a Trapinch you find in the same route as well. We also catch yourself an Eevee, which will be used later on. I want to specifically use Trapinch because it does get Levitate once it evolves into Flygon, and that would be a great ability to have on an electric type Pokemon. From there, we're going to move out and face off against Misty after clearing through Mount Moon. And we're going to start the battle off against Misty using two Pokemon. Using my Luxander against her Glarogue, which I'm able to spark it down, get it paralyzed on it, and then two-shot it, lucky, because it would knock me out. Her next Pokemon will be a Manrus, which I switch out into my Wartick. I'm able to get a Thunder Wave on it and then Rock Smash it down. I should have used Electro Web, but I wanted to get the defense drop so I could switch it into my Luxender to spark it down. But I'm able to actually eventually knock him out with Rock Smash because the defense drops anyways. And then from there, I'm able to get a Roost on my Luxender, which actually is pretty good. From there, we're going to spend a bit of time evolving most of our Pokemon into the mid-30s. Most of my Pokemon evolve into a new Pokemon. And we're also going to go into the SSN, clear through our rivals in here, and then face off against Lieutenant Surge in the next gym. So we're going to start the battle off against Lieutenant Surge using my Flying Electric type Luxender against his Nose Key. This is a stupid combination. I'm able to spark it down. I'm able to two-shot into the Nose Key, and then he's going to switch out into his Houndblade. Gallade and Houndoom, I think. I'm pretty sure. I'm able to spark it down twice and knock him out regardless. And then his final Pokemon will be a Fletch and Chop, which goes down. I even get burnt. I'm still able to knock him out with my Luxender. From there, I'm able to move out and go into Route 8, I believe. Catch myself a Magnemite, which is going to be really nice for my team. And then from there, we're going to go into Rock Tunnel, clear through the Rock Tunnel, which isn't too difficult, and then head into Celadon City. Now in Celadon City, firstly, we're going to get a Thunderstone, evolve our Eevee into a Jolteon, so we have another Pokemon. And now fuse our Togetic and Jolteon combined, which is going to be Togeon. We're not going to evolve into a lot later in the game, but it's going to be pretty nice. We're also going to cheat in. Now I'm cheating. Now I'm going to cheat in some coins so we get Porygon. I'm obviously not going to sit at the casino machine forever for this. And I also don't have the money for this. I'm not sure if I'll ever have the money for this. But I'll get myself a Porygon and infuse that with my Magneton, which will be a Poryton. Which is going to be a long time before we fully evolve the Pokemon. But from there, we're going to face off against Giovanni in the sewers of Celadon City. And we're able to clear him through. There's some ugly looking Pokemon. Everyone has the Smearguard. I swear, everyone has the Smearguard. But anyways, we're able to beat down Giovanni and then head into the next gym in the game. We're able to face off against Erica. Erica is the 4th gym leader in the game. We're able to start the battle off against her using my newly evolved Lux Flame, which is Luxray and Talonflame. And you can see how strong this thing is. Well, it's 5 levels over because that's how much I've been using it. I'm able to Acrobatics, one-shot the Type Tar. Her next Pokemon will be a Galvantron. It's still bug type, but it's still very tanky because it's partly Kangaskhan. I'm able to two-shot it pretty easily, knock him out, and her final Pokemon will be a Buttergeist, which I'm able to one-shot and get the 4th gym badge from that. Now we move on into the Pokemon Tower, and I tried my best. I really tried. It is a 1% encounter in here to get yourself a Rotom. But I've been stuck here, and it just felt like it was not showing up. I didn't see a single Rotom. I was checking the wiki. It is on modern mode. I'm not too sure if that matters. I'm playing on 5.1 version, and I couldn't find anything. I found every single encounter possible besides a Rotom, and I just gave up. So I decided to use a repeat Poke. I went back and got myself another Elekid, and then I decided to fuse that in with my Beldum I got in the same location in Mount Moon. And surprisingly, the left side is the better fusion in my opinion, so we're gonna keep that. Steel Electric, pretty nice. From there, we can go into Fuchsia City next. Fuchsia City, firstly, we can go into the Safari Zone, get ourselves the Surf HM and also the Strength HM. A bunch of HMs. We also learned Teleport, which basically is the Fly in this game, so you don't actually need Fly. And then from there, we're going to face off against Koga, which is the 5th gym leader in the game. We're going to start the battle off against Koga with someone else besides my Lux Flame. Using my Metabuzz against his Umterra, which actually is not an Umterra. It's a Zora Nucleus, which, I mean, goes down either way. I'm pretty sure. Am I going to lose this? No, I have Bullet Punch. There we go. Eventually, I knock him out. He's going to switch out into his Weavile next, which is Talonflame and Weavile. I'm going to switch out into my Lux Flame, which, you know, just outclasses him. Thunderfang will knock him out, and then he's going to switch out into his Haunchvor. Maybe with Acrobatics twice into him and knock him out. And then his final Pokemon will be the actual Umterra, which I'm able to, well, my Lux Flame will go down, but I switch out into my Electagon, which is able to go for a Dragon Claw and then probably go down because, oh no, I survived. I'm going to go for a Dragon Rush and knock him out, which is pretty clean. So we cleared through that pretty nicely, and from there, we have to go into Silph Co, and for some reason, in modern mode, you have to save every hostage in this building, which is, I mean, I guess I have to be the good guy and save everyone, but honestly, I wish I was playing on normal mode where I could just skip this if I didn't want to save everyone. But we have to save everyone, get ourselves the Lapras, which we're not going to use, and then face off against our rival at Silph Co, which isn't too difficult. We cleared through him pretty easily, and then we're going to face off against Giovanni, which also is pretty easy. We're also not going to use the Johto starter. Maybe I should use that in the future, but I didn't feel like using them. I have an interesting team, not a good team. From there, once you clear through everyone in Silph Co and clear through the Team Rocket members, you get the upgrade for free, and that will allow us to finally upgrade our Poryton. Poryton 2 is actually a pretty cool Pokemon. It's pretty cool. From there, we're gonna move out and face off against Sabrina. Sabrina is the 6th gym leader in the game. We're gonna start the battle off against her using obviously my Lux Flame. I mean, I wish I could go back and not use Lux Flame so much, but you can see how much I'm enjoying it. I made her acrobatics twice into the Silph Ocean. From there, she can switch out into her Driftlow, which I'm able to go for 2 acrobatics, and somehow it knocks her out still. And then her final opponent will be a Marikyu, which I go down, but I can switch out into my Electagon, which is able to go for a Dragon move against the Fairy Pokemon, like a genius I am. I made a Surf and one-shot the Marikyu, and then her final opponent will be a Clefix, which I'm able to get a few Surf off. She's going to use Cosmic Power, which I'm getting a little scared of, so I decided to go for Discharge to paralyze her. Lucky enough, she does get paralyzed, and it actually works out because she gets paralyzed a bunch of times, twice in a row, and she's unable to knock me out as I made a Surf and knock her out. We already had a 6th gym match in the game, and now we can move out into Cinnabar Island. We get the key, you guys know that. From there, we also go into the gym, and we actually answered the first 3 questions correctly. That is good to remember for the future, because we didn't get any of the questions right after this one. But from there, we're going to move on and face off against Blaine next. Blaine is the 7th gym leader in the game. We're going to start the battle off against him, of course, using my Lux Flame. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I love using Lux Flame. Starting the battle off against his Klingferig, using my Thunder Fang, and it doesn't do a lot of damage, so I switch over to Crunch, and it's super effective. I'm able to knock out the Klingferig, and then from there he can switch out into a Xano. I'm able to go for a Crunch again. He's more of a Psychic gym leader at this point. 2 Crunches would knock him out. He switches out into his Alistar, which I'm able to go for an Acrobatics, and that will one-shot him pretty easily. From there, he's going to switch out into his Togen Nucleus, which can Side Shock me and obviously knock me out. So, you know what? You guys can see another Pokemon. I switch out into my Metavire, which is able to go for a Meteor Mash, and that should one-shot it as I beat Blaine, and that was the end of the battle. Now, I don't know if they actually randomize each Pokemon, because I don't remember seeing most of these Pokemon on my first playthrough of Modern Mode. But these Pokemon are very interesting. I hope they do randomize like the trainer Pokemon each time. It's not the same ones, but it feels like some of them are same, some of them are different. So maybe they didn't get randomized, and I just have bad memory. But anyways, from there we're gonna face off against Zap Mokuno. And then from there, we're going to start the battle off using my Lux Flame. We're going to make sure, we're going to try to knock out the Moltres head first. Because I feel like most of my Pokemon are Steel types and they'll be weak against the Fire one. I prioritize knocking out that one, and it does a lot of damage to it anyways. I'm able to get a Ancient Power boost with my Togeon, and then from there, I could target down the Articuno head. And the Zapdos head doesn't do too much damage after that. And we're able to knock him out pretty easily. As then, we're going to face off against Giovanni in his own gym. Though I'm a little over level, Giovanni is pretty strong, as he actually is able to black me out twice. So I lost to Giovanni twice, but on the 3rd retry, we're able to start the battle off against him using my Togeon. We're going to go for a Discharge to get paralyzed on the Zoroark, which is Persian and Zoroark. I'm able to get another paralyzed after wasting all his full restores. And then from there, he's going to U-turn into his Porylurk, which I don't know what typing is this. Normal and ground? Normal and ghost. It must be normal and ghost. My Togeon goes down, but I go out into my Lux Flame, which is able to knock him out with Acrobatics. So he switches out into his Ocean. I'm able to go for a Wild Charge to knock him out. From there, he's going to switch out to his Kukan, which I'm able to go for a Roost, as he's going to try to Sucker Punch me. Eventually, he goes for Outrage, but I'm able to go for an Acrobatics. I have a Flying Gem on, but I don't think the calculations are right. Going back to what I was saying about the game is not flawless. Obviously, there is some glitches, and this is a mistake. So I try to put a Flying Gem onto my Pokemon, and it actually does less damage. Normally, it does a Flying Gem first, and then it does double damage because of Acrobatics boost, because you don't have a Hell item normally, but they didn't really account for that, so obviously that didn't work. I wasted my money buying Flying Gems. He's going to switch out into his Smeargar, which I'm able to go for an Acrobatics and knock him out in one shot. His final opponent will be a Kekgon, which is going to knock me out with a Dragon Claw, but I can knock him out with my Bullet Punch from my Metavire. And from there, we're able to beat down Giovanni, get the 8th gym in the game, and then we can move on and face off against our rival in Route 22. This battle isn't too difficult. We're able to clear him down, but what actually is a difficult fight, we're going to go and face off against this trainer with a bunch of Shedinja. And unfortunately, I don't have a single fire move at all. I couldn't hit him at all. From now, we have to actually give up the fight, and then we have to come back. Once we clear through Victory Road, though, we're gonna actually do a few stops first. We're gonna go into Bill's house and get the Dubious Disc, evolve our Porygon into a Porygon Z or a Poryzone. We're also gonna go out into the Move Relearner and teach our Pokemon some better moves. Obviously, this should be in the Pokemon League, but I guess they just didn't add it. I feel like that's just a better addition if they just add it to the Pokemon League, like Poke Center. But from there, we're going to move on into the Elite Four, and we're going to face off against the Elite Four next. We're going to start the battle off against Lorelei, the first Elite Four member, using my Electagon, I'm able to go for a Thunder Punch, one-shot the Polygon. It's just kind of funny looking in general. But from there, you can switch out into a Swamp Ray, which is Luxray and Swampert. I'm able to go for a Dragon Dance. It can go for a Waterfall. It does a little bit of damage to me, but I'm able to go for an Earthquake and knock him out. No, but it knocks itself out, so it actually works out. I knock it out. From there, I'm going to switch out into my Metavire, which I'm able to go for Hammer Arm against the Spirit Miku, which I have electric move. Finally, I learned that I have an electric move, but unfortunately, Inwards Out knocks me down to low HP, and then you can switch out into her Milotina, which normally this thing doesn't give me a lot of trouble. All the legendaries on the Elite Four don't give me that much trouble, as I'm able to paralyze the Milotina and then switch out into my other Pokemon. I switch out into my Lux Flame, which is able to go for an Acrobatics, and I forgot to take off the Flying Gem. Of course I did. Wild Charge would knock out the Milotina. There we go. Eventually knock out the Milotina, and from there you can switch out into her Kingdrio, which is gonna knock out my favorite Pokemon, but I'm gonna switch out into my Togeon. Thunder is gonna one-shot that thing, and then her final Pokemon will be a Gyaraku, which I'm gonna get a Thunder off, but I go down to Play Rough, but I have like 2 more Pokemon in the back. I switch out to my Poryzone and is able to knock him out with a Discharge, and from there we beat down Lorelei, move out into the next Elite Four member, which is gonna be Bruno. Bruno's gonna start the battle off against us using a Tyrannoflame, which is kind of cool looking. Maybe I should use Tyranitar a little more. I switch out into my Poryzone first, and then I'm gonna Discharge and 2-shot him, so that was easy. From there you can switch out to his Marrow Rear, Rhyperior, Marrow Rear, sound about right. I made a Toxicate, and then I should have went for Recover, but I switched out into my Galvantula toys, which I haven't used in a long time. Surf is able to one-shot him, and then he can switch out into his Cray, which is able to go for a Stockpile, and I start misplaying like crazy. I go for Bug Buzz and Discharge, looking for Paralyzes. Lucky enough, I'm able to get out of this situation. I switch out into my Electagon. Lucky enough, it doesn't have any move to hit me. I'm able to get 3 Dragon Dances off, and then from there, I'm able to Earthquake and one-shot that thing. From there, he's going to switch out into his Octostar. Earthquake again to knock him out. Ooh, it doesn't knock him out, but Earthquake again to knock him out. And then from there, his next Pokemon will be his Armatops, which I'm able to go for a Thunder Punch to conserve Earthquake PP. And from there, he's going to switch out to his Probodon. I'm able to Earthquake it and knock him out pretty easily. From there, we're going to face up against Agatha next. Agatha's the 3rd Elite Four member. We're able to start the battle off against her Clefairy using my Poryzone. Poryzone's able to do a bit of damage and then go down, so that was unfortunate. I switch out into my Metavire. Meteor Mash would knock out the Clefairy. And our next Pokemon will be a Chandelbach, which I don't know how to handle this thing. I went out to my Galvantula toys, surf him down pretty easily, I guess. I don't know. It does a lot of damage. She also has a Stockpile, but eventually it works out. So we're able to surf it down. Her next Pokemon will be a Dust Plume, which I don't know what to do. I just sack my Galvantula toys, which switch out into my Lux Flame, 2 Acrobatics. I realized that I still haven't taken off the Flying Gem, so Acrobatics again would knock out the Dust Plume. Her next Pokemon will be a Crowros, which I go out into my Metavire. Metavire is not really able to do any damage in this situation, so I went out into my Electagon. Electagon is able to go for a Dragon Dance and then Earthquake to knock him out. Her next Pokemon will be Umzing, which gets me Toxic, but I'm able to 2-shot it. And then our final Pokemon will be a Mo, which is able to Sacred Fire me. I misplayed like crazy here, but I'm able to go out to my Lux Flame. Lux Flame's able to go for an Acrobatics, 2-shot it at least, and we're able to beat down Agatha. Now moving on, we're going to face off against Lance next. We're obviously first trying every single boss in this game, so we're going to start the battle off against Lance using my Galvantula toys. Galvantula toys is able to discharge into the Togaflame as it can U-turn out into the Septactyl. Which is gonna 2-shot me. I paralyzed it though, but it's gonna 2-shot me regardless. I don't get a discharge paralyze on it, but I can switch out into my Togeon, which is able to go for Thunder and Thunder anything. Okay, Togeon, worst Pokemon in the world. From there, I switch out into my Electagon, which is able to go for a Dragon Dance and then go for a Dragon Claw to knock out the Septadactyl. His next Pokemon will be a Dark Knight, which surprisingly does not have multi-scale, which I'm able to Dragon Claw and one-shot it. His next Pokemon will be a Togaflame, which I'm able to Thunder Punch and knock him out. His final Pokemon will be an Agements, which I'm able to go for a Dragon Claw. Survive? No, I don't survive. I do not survive an Outrage. Then I'm going to go out into my Lux Flame, which is able to go for a Wild Charge and knock out the Agements. His next and final Pokemon will be a Shandamori, which I'm going to go for a Wild Charge. Activates Weak Armor and things can go for a Shadow Ball. Almost knocks me out, but I'm going to go for an Acrobatics and knock him out. And we end up beating... Oh no, he has a Dual Bat in the back. Nope, I'm able to go for a Wild Charge and 2-shot him. So there we go. We end up beating down Lance and we cleared through the Elite Four without losing a single battle. Now from there, I thought it was gonna be a breeze. From there, we face off against a rival, the champion of the game. We face off against Blue, and Blue beat me down so many times in every single direction. Every single one of his Pokemon beat me. There was no way for me to even win the game. It felt almost impossible. I was like, there's just no way. My team is just garbage. Maybe I'll rethink my team, but on this attempt, I finally got it working. I started to battle off against Champion Blue using my Togeon against his Ninsharp. I'm going for a Fire Blast because I outspeed it. Fire Blast will almost knock him out as he goes for an Iron Head. He's going to get a speed boost so he outspeeds me. So if I miss a Fire Blast, it's actually over. I don't miss it. I knock out the Ninsharp. He's forced to go out to his Torterra, Discharge Paralyze, which is perfect for me as I go out into my Galvantula. Galvantula is able to go for a Thunder Wave. I was assuming he's going to go for a full restore, but he didn't. I go for a Sticky Web in the following turn. He goes for a Flare Blitz as I'm going to go for a Discharge, force him to use a full restore, and then paralyze him once again. I switch out into my Lux Flame to get the Intimidate off and then go out for a Wild Charge. I don't know why he always uses Giga Drain on this turn, but eventually he's going to go for a close combat as well. I roost off the damage and then go out into my Galvantula once again to get a Thunder Wave off. He's going to Giga Drain me, which is unfortunate, but I'm going to switch out into my Lux Flame, keep doing this until I get some Intimidate drops on him, and then sack my Galvantula. Once I actually sack my Galvantula, I switch out into my Electagon next. I Dragon Dance 4 times in his face as he used Scald. He doesn't get paralyzed ever. He just so annoying. He doesn't get paralyzed. He scalds me 4 times. Does not get a single burn, which I'm like, what? I actually go for 5. I go for 5, get greedy, and eventually knock out his Torterra. So that's great. He's then switched out into his Haxmans, which I'm able to one-shot with Dragon Claw. He switched out into his Ryuion, which is Renewclus and Sylveon, so I don't have Dragon Claw available to me. Earthquake doesn't even kill. +5. Oh my god. Electagon. Come on, bro. I go out into my Metavire from there, Bullet Punch to knock him out at least. I wasted all the full restores. He can switch out to his Cinnabar. He's going to burn himself and then miss a Fire Blast. So my Poryzone is able to actually stall him out with Recover. He knocks himself out with Burn as well. And his final Pokemon will be an Array, a Luxray, and Arceus. He's getting knocked me out, but I get Intimidate off, which is crucial. I go out into my Metavire. Metavire is able to Hammer Arm into him, and then he's going to go for Stone Edge for some reason. I'm able to go for a Hammer Arm once again to knock him out, and we end up beating down Champion Blue with just all that, which, oh my god. Finally, we cleared through the champion of the game. We cleared through Pokemon Infinite Fusion using only the Electric type monotyping for fusion. So our team could have been better. I never rely on anyone besides my Lux Flame. But as well, my Galvantula, I mean, it clutched up at the end, but I could have been any other Pokemon, could have been way better. My Togeon should have been better as well. Everything else was decent. I mean, my Poryzone was actually completely trash. I should have had Sturdy on it, actually, thinking back to it, but I don't know. A lot of Pokemon I wish I actually changed up because it was hard to really find a good common ground and what to do. I also searched out so many different combinations with Magnezone, but most of them were actually garbage, so I had to scrap that idea. Even Starmie and Magnezone is actually a garbage combination, which is unfortunate, but I was pretty happy. I found a really cool Pokemon in the Lux Flame, so I'm happy with that one. But anyways, thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. I hope you guys all enjoyed this video. If you guys can, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel. It means a lot to me. Anyways, my name's been Alpha. Hope you all have a great day, and I'm out. Peace.